What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to make a cheap fog chiller just with stuff that's lying around your house, or you can go get it at a thrift store or your local hardware store. I'm just going to use this Tupperware bin thing. Bought it for $1 at a thrift store. Some duct tape, a marker, some PVC pipe, a bit to cut your hole, and then obviously some fog juice, your fog machine, and also some ice. So I'll just show you step by step how I'm going to do it. There's lots of different ways that you can do this. Just look on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of different people's ideas. I'm just going to show you a cheap, quick way to get it done. So here we go. Alright, so I'm going to go through really quick my design on this. I got this idea from a buddy of mine who's a prop builder, and he built it in a similar way and he said it worked out pretty good. What I'll do is we'll put a hole here in one side of the container. That's where your fog's going to come in. We'll obviously then fill this with ice, and then on the other side we'll drill another hole for an exit pipe. And you'll see a lot of people, what they'll do is they will put either like metal hosing or some other kind of tubing to get your fog from point A to point B. My buddy, when he built his, he had a slightly different design as far as his container went, but he actually didn't put any sort of hose or metal tubing. He just let the fog go through the ice and come out on the other end, and he said it worked actually better than when he had done it with the tube. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just going to try it because he suggested it. So first thing that you've got to do is line up your fog machine with your container. A lot of people do this with buckets or containers that go up like a small garbage can. I'm just going to try it with this more vertical flat container. We'll see how it works. But anyway, you got to figure out where you want your pipe to go. So obviously you just fit it over how you're going to want it on your machine. I'm going to tilt mine just slightly down just to prevent any ice melting and going into my machine. And then I'm just going to trace a line here and then go ahead and drill it out for you. Alright, I got my my holes traced out. That's my exit hole. I put it a little bit higher than the entrance hole here. So what I'm going to do now is just use a drill. Pretty self-explanatory. Going to go ahead and just cut those out. One thing I should mention, I'm using 1.5" PVC. A lot of people will use a lot bigger than that. I just chose to use a smaller size because I had a drill bit that was that size, and this is a pretty small container. Most people will use like 4" just because that's the size of your basic metal dryer duct tubing. So the tube that connects the dryer to the outside vent. I just feel like an idiot for explaining that, but yeah, you'll see a lot of people using that. This isn't really big enough for me to use something that's 4" in diameter, so that's why I went with the smaller size. But if you're going to build a larger scale one of these, like out of a garbage can or a 5-gallon bucket, it would probably be a good idea to use that, just because you'll get a lot more fog in there, and it also can get cooled by the ice since it's just a thin metal tube. So now I'm just going to drill out these holes for you. Alright, so just cut the holes. That would be the exit hole. It's a little bit higher. There's the entrance hole. Next step, pretty basic. What you're going to do is just figure out how you want your pipe. For me, I think I'm just going to try and use this short pipe to connect these two. If not, I've got a longer pipe. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is just connect these two with the PVC and go ahead and tape off any of the connections so that you're not having any leaks. This is where some people do it differently. I'm not going to do the inner tubing like I said before, but other people would then connect like your metal duct vent, or sorry, your dryer vent tube. Typically they'll do it like if it's in a garbage can or a 5-gallon bucket, you'll coil it inside so that the fog can enter the container and then finally go out the exit hole. This, obviously, that wouldn't work, so we're just going to go kind of like a shotgun effect. I thought about just putting the pipe straight through, but I didn't think it would get cool enough in that short a time. The pipe's kind of thick. I don't know what you guys think. Leave a comment if you think I could have done this better, which I definitely could have, but what can you do? So now I'm just going to connect it up, and then we'll go to the next step. Again, this is going to be my basic layout. I haven't taped it up yet, but I'm just going to put a small pipe to connect the fog in. And then of course I could cut this pipe to length, but it'll be our out pipe. And then this container came with this funky tray thing when I bought it today. So what I'm going to do is use that and set it like this so it's kind of diagonal. I've seen other people do this on YouTube with other things. Basically it's just to help break up the fog so it doesn't go through your cooler too fast. And so what I'm hoping will happen, we'll see, is I'll let the fog come in. Of course I'll put ice underneath and on top of this grate, and then it's going to filter through and then hit this other side and come out here. And of course I'll tape up the joints so that the pressure makes it all go out. So I'll tape it up and then we'll see how it works. Okay, I got this thing taped up. I actually switched it up from what I said earlier. I used the higher hole for the entrance hole. Just worked better for the height of my fog machine. And again, put the lower hole with the exit pipe. I could trim this if I needed to. Just trying to do this quick though, so I won't do that right now. I just quickly taped both inside and outside with normal duct tape on the connections. So now all I'm going to do is fill it full of ice, and then I'll connect my fog machine like so. I'll probably do a quick tape connection on the end of this as well, just to make sure there's no leaks. And then we'll go from there. So here we go. Alright, we're almost done. Just put some ice in the container. Now a lot of people on YouTube, you'll see they'll put a plastic bag on the end just to help disperse the fog a little bit better. I'm going to test it first without the bag, and we'll see if it works. And then if it does, we'll go ahead and try and use the bag and see if that makes it better. So it's kind of working. I can tell I've got a leak here, the first joint, but for the most part the fog is staying low to the ground. Alright, we're going to try it again. I tried to tape up the seal on this entry a little bit more. I still haven't taped up the fog machine here. I'm going to see if I can do it without that. I'd like it if I could, but if I can, I'll tape it up on the next run. So here we go with try number 2. Alright, again, it's definitely working. We've got leaks though. Yeah, let me try and shoot it again and you can see what I mean. Oh, it's not ready yet, but it's leaking a little bit around the top edges and the seal. But you know what, for the most part, cheap do-it-yourself fog cooler, this ain't bad. Alright, again, thanks for watching my video. There's tons of different ways you can do this. There's no right or wrong way. You can seal it with caulking or foam, use different containers, different piping. The last thing I wanted to show you is I put the bag on the end and it actually works a lot better, it just disperses more evenly. So here we go. Again, thanks for watching.